I'm Kathryn Schulmeister. I play the double bass. So I grew up in Hawaii. I started playing bass in elementary school, actually just in strings program in 3rd grade, so I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I had a really great teacher who taught me private lessons and sort of got me set up with the bass, but it wasn't until I was in high school that I got really serious about music. So I studied on the East Coast. I went to the New England Conservatory of Music, studied classical bass, and my dream was to be in an orchestra. But when I arrived in Boston, I found, wow, there's all this other great music that I didn't even realize, like improvisation, new music, working with composers. There was a really amazing jazz department, and it was there that I actually became really interested in all different kinds of styles of music. So as I moved forward in my career, I always continued with classical, playing in the orchestra. I still play professionally in orchestras, but now I do a whole range of things. I do a lot of contemporary music, improvisation, and now I also teach at the University of the Pacific Conservatory of Music in Stockton, California as well. The way that I manage, a lot of different hats that I wear, a lot of different roles, teaching, performing, administrative work. Well, first, you have to stay very organized. So I'm very organized with my time, planning out things really far in advance. And in any given day, I have to set aside time to do different things. So whether that's teaching or practicing, rehearsing, taking care of administrative work, basically, I have to map out my days to do all of those things. The challenge is that, it is a lot of work to switch between different types of thinking. The way that I'm thinking when I'm playing the bass is very different than when I'm organizing something, and that's also very different from teaching or researching or writing about something. I mean, this is another thing that I love about music. I love that you can go anywhere in the world and you can connect with people. It really is like being able to speak this universal language. I know that might sound cheesy, but it's true, and it's really a beautiful thing. And I think that it was certainly a culture shock to move to the East Coast, but I also think that every time I move to a different place or travel and play with different people, I grow as a musician because you learn from different traditions, and you start to kind of build your own personal toolkit, and then you can draw upon all of those things. And so now, at this point in my life, I can draw from music that I grew up listening to in Hawaii, but I can also draw from music that I studied in Boston or music that I studied in San Diego or anything. So I think that just enriches your experience when you travel and you meet different people and study music in different places. Right, so I think in thinking about, advice that I might give to young musicians to help them prepare for success, I would say the number one thing is nurturing relationships. The friends that you have, I still work with people that I met in high school. So really understanding that in music, we're all in this together and that you are going to continue to see the same people over and over again in your life, and so many opportunities are going to come through those connections. So I think it's really important to be kind to others and to and focus on nurturing relationships for the long term. That would be one thing. As far as just kind of navigating the career, my advice would be to stay open because, as I said in my story, in high school I really wanted to be in an orchestra, but then when I went to college I realized there were all these different kinds of musical expressions that I hadn't even considered before. And I think nowadays with technology and the field is just constantly evolving, so there might be paths that you haven't even considered yet, that you don't even know about yet. So I would recommend just being open and trying things, and be willing to be flexible because it's a career that I think can be a little bit unpredictable in terms of what opportunities may come your way. So as much as you can be adaptable and flexible, I think will really serve you in the long term. And then finally, I would just say to just try to remember why you love music. I think sometimes when we try to pursue it professionally, we get so serious about it that we maybe drift a little bit away from that passion that got it started. And so I think it's also really important to make time for reconnecting with the music that you really love, either through listening or playing with people, jamming, reconnecting to that, because that really is ultimately the most important thing, and that's that healing energy that you give to others when you play music and create music.